is Jimmy. Have you missed me? Oh, I hope you've missed me, because I've missed you. What, you're still trying to place me? Well, to be fair, I have changed. Quite a bit, actually. Well, 1956 is a long time ago. You haven't changed, though. Not really. Not when you get down to it. And we will get down to it. Still a bit confused. Is it the hair? It is a different cut. No, I can see you're going to have to do this a bit more formally. Jimmy Porter. Look Back in Anger, John Osborne play. Yeah. How the fuck are you? And yes, I am a woman. The way I see it is, if Doctor Who can be a woman and 007 can be a woman, then why can I be a woman? Right, are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. So there I am, milling about in that great green room in the sky. You know, that celestial cesspit where all us characters hang out. When the curtain comes down, we get to eat curling sandwiches and sip warm white wine while waiting for the call from our agent and flawed god Mr. Theatre to let us know we're needed for another production. When Hamlet, yeah, me and my besties, comes over and says, "Oi, J-Dog, check this out," and hands me a roneoed flyer for a shout out for a theatrical piece about class. Well, I look at H looks at me, I smile, H smiles. I mean, theatre and class, well, that's me all over. So I say, "Get my coat, bacon boy, I'm out of here." And before he can even begin to be or not to be me, I'm down the stairs, through the doors, and Ubering my way over here to you, you lucky people. Okay, here's the only thing you need to know about class in this country. Imagine I've got 3 carrier bags. One is from Lidl, one is from Waitrose, and one is from Harrods. Well, frankly, is there anything more to be said? Okay, let's push this further. Let's make it real. Imagine I stand in the street with these 3 carrier bags and I give them to the next 3 people that walk by. This is where you come in. You see these 3 people carrying these 3 different carrier bags. What do you think about them? What is your first thought? Not the thought you will go on to have because your liberal, better snowflake self is self-censoring your reactions that you will share externally, but your first thought about them. These 3 people that you've never met, never even spoken to, but who are carrying 3 different carrier bags. You see, Shakespeare got it all wrong. He often did. Well, half wrong. I'll give him all the world's a stage, but it's the next bit he screws up. You see, when it comes to the thorny subject of class, we're not only all players, we're all casting directors, assigning roles on the basis of the flimsiest of facts and our totally subjective learnt prejudices. Like spotting a carrier bag in the hands of someone in the street and purely on the basis of that insignificant bit of information, casting them in a role that we see as defining them, their story, their possibilities and their dreams. A carrier bag.
That's a deep point about how shallow we are when it comes to class. All of us, when we get below the surface. And frankly, there's not a lot below the surface for most of us. We have no hidden depths. We have barely concealed shallows. And theatre can do fuck all about it. Or maybe we occasionally splash about in the shallows from time to time. Maybe we occasionally shout out to the working classes, "Come on in, the water's lovely." But it isn't. And it barely covers our ankles. And it's cold. And Netflix is cheaper. What? You think I didn't know about Netflix? Love Netflix. Have you seen The Crown? Not sure about season 3 with Olivia Colman playing the Queen, but love seasons 1 and 2. And oh, sorry, drifting off the point a bit. Where was I? Oh yeah, theatre and class. I feel I am ideally placed to bang on about it because that's where I came in 1956. I came in and changed everything. It's in all the books. I was a revolution. I changed everything in the theatre in this country. There's before me and there's after me. I changed everything. But that turns out not to be the case. Theatre today is less for the working class than it was in my day, in 1956. Obviously, you can disagree with me, but you'd be wrong. Do you know how many theatres there were in 1956? Do you know how many there are now? Do you even know what a rep theatre was? And how one worked? And where they even were? And what that meant in terms of making theatre accessible, making even a possibility for outsiders to aspire to. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking there are way more diverse, don't you? Just love that word. Stories being staged today than ever before. And you'd be right. But my point is, who goes to see them? So let me tell you a story. I like stories. So there I am in that green room with the guys, checking out what's on that's worth seeing, and there's this play called Sweat about American steel workers facing redundancy in the Rust Belt in the 80s or 90s, I'm not sure which. Evidently a real working class cry from the heart, searing work, cracking reviews. So I go to the West End, London's glittering West End, to get a ticket. And I check out the prices, and there's tickets in the stalls for £144 to see a play about unemployed people trying to figure out how to get by or possibly even survive. £144. So the people the play is about, whose story is being told, wouldn't even be able to afford a decent ticket to see their own lives, their own pain, being pimped out for the entertainment of an elite half a world away. Suddenly 1956 doesn't seem so bad, does it? Theatre isn't interested in class, not really. It's interested in tourism. The working class is just another exotic location for the middle classes to holiday in. Always has been, always will be. And I should know, because I bought a ticket. Every play about class is just fucking tourism. Brilliant play, by the way, Sweat. If it comes back, you should see it, if you can get a ticket. Oh, and it is set in America, which helps, doesn't it? It's always easier to look through a window than look in a mirror. Sorry, getting worked up, losing my rag, getting angry. I was always famous for it, anger, as a young man. But anger can't stay anger forever. It's too tiring. Wears you down, hollows you out, turns you into a silo of pain. And that's when, through some obscure alchemical process, the pain mutates into bitterness. And for me, as I am a creation of the theatre, some cultural thing kicks in and the bitterness mutates into nostalgia. And that's okay, because nostalgia is so much easier to sell. I mean, you ask for a theatrical take on class, and I show up. I mean, how much more nostalgic can you get? Okay, let's try a different tack. Who'd win in a fight between a lion and a bear? Bear, actually. Lion's faster, but the bear's got power and weight. Or what about between a shark and a crocodile? Tricky one, that. Probably depends where the fight was happening. Deep water, shark wins every time. Shallow water, crocodile's got a better shot. Okay, last one. Who wins in a fight between an Eccleston and a Cumberbatch? Christopher Eccleston, not Bernie. Who wins in a fight between Christopher Eccleston and Benedict Cumberbatch? Much harder to call. Eccleston's a bit, well, grittier, isn't he? And Cumberbatch is just a bit more Cumberbatchy. He's got that public school elite vibe going for him. Lovely man, I've no doubt, but he is anointed or tainted by privilege. Or seems to be. Lovely actor though, as is Eccleston. So let's leave the fisticuffs aspect of the contest aside. In a thespian off, who would win? Eccleston or Cumberbatch? To be honest, I'm on the fence on this one. I can see the arguments for each side. But they have played different roles. So how do you compare? Maybe you have to go where they've played similar, comparable roles. So, who'd win in a thespian off? Doctor Who or Doctor Strange? Well, phrase it like that and it's easy. Eccleston's Doctor Who is way better than Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. But outside of these roles, well, frankly, Cumberbatch gets more roles, so he's ahead. Let's simplify the fight. Let's set some rules of engagement, some parameters that the glorious world of theatre that you so believe in finds of value when it comes to deciding who wins and who loses. Eccleston v Cumberbatch, who gets the knighthood? Oof, that hurts, doesn't it? Still think it's not about class. I'll leave that there. I know it's a flawed argument. So I started off with these 3 carrier bags, and they were a metaphor for the class system in this country. My point being that if something as innocuous as a carrier bag can be a thing that not only gets loaded up with shopping, but also loaded up with meaning and cultural significance, then we have no chance of ever escaping the class system in this country. And theatre, I love you, but if you think you can do anything about that, you are kidding yourself. The best you can do, and occasionally do, is redesign the carrier bags. Make them look a little different from time to time. And I know this because I am 64. And you think I haven't been watching everything that's happened in the theatre in this country for the last 64 years. And you think that if I came back in another 64 years, the lie of the land wouldn't be pretty much the same. That's because the only other thing you need to know about class in this country is what I like to call Jimmy Porter's 3 Ps. Class persists, class pervades, class prevails. And if nothing else has been able to do anything about this in this country, theatre, darling, stop bigging yourself up. You've got no hope of changing anything. Well, been lovely talking to you. Must do this again sometime.